Hey guys, today we're diving into one of the most powerful parables in the Bible, the parable of the talents. What is the interesting thing about this parable? It's got some serious life lessons about money, responsibility, and how we handle what we've been given. I'm not about to preach to you, but these principles, they can change the way you think about your finances and your future. Stick around, because today we're diving into 10 life-changing lessons you don't want to miss. Stick with me, because I'm breaking it down in a way that's super practical and totally relevant for today. So buckle up, smash that like button, and get ready to level up your life because this is going to be epic. Before I go deeper into this, let me quickly give you a rundown of the parable of the talents. If you don't know the story, or need a refresher, here's what happens. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus tells this story about a master who's about to go on a long journey. He decides to entrust his wealth to his servants before he leaves. He gives different amounts of money to each servant. One gets 5 talents, another 2, and the last one gets 1 talent. Now, talent here isn't like a special skill or ability. Back in the day, a talent was a large sum of money. We're talking a serious chunk of change. The servants who received 5 and 2 talents, they went out, invested that money, and doubled what they were given. But the guy with 1 talent, he buried it in the ground, too afraid to take a risk. When the master comes back, he praises the 2 who invested and grew their wealth, saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant." But the one who buried his talent, he got called out for his fear and lack of action. The master took his talent away and gave it to the one who had the most. Harsh, right? But here's the point. In life, if we're not using what we have, our skills, our resources, our opportunities, we risk losing them. The idea here isn't to punish, but to show that growth comes to those who make an effort. When we don't act or grow, those opportunities can slip away. So yeah, it might seem harsh, but it's a reality check. We're meant to use and multiply what we're given. When we step up and do our best with what we have, there's always the potential for more. Alright, so here's the first thing we learn from this parable. Wealth and responsibility go hand in hand. The master didn't just hand out money willy-nilly. He trusted his servants with his wealth based on their abilities. So if you're in a place where you're making money, whether it's through a job, a side hustle, or investments, remember that you're responsible for managing it well. The more you have, the more responsibility you take on. It's not just about earning, it's about being faithful with what's been entrusted to you. If you can't handle the small things, how are you going to handle bigger opportunities down the road? In the parable, the master didn't just hand out money at random. He gave each servant an amount based on their ability to handle it. The same goes for us. If we want more in life, whether it's money, opportunities, or even relationships, we need to show we can handle what we already have. Think about it. If we're not using what we have wisely, why would we expect to be given more? This parable shows that there's a connection between how we manage what's in our hands right now and the potential to receive more. If we're careless with our money, our time, or even our talents, we're not in a position to grow. The servant who buried his talent, he didn't take responsibility. And because he didn't do anything with what he was given, the master took it back and gave it to the servant who had done the most. It's a clear message. When we don't use what we already have, we lose out on greater opportunities. This isn't just about finances. It applies to every part of life. If we're faithful and responsible with what we've got, we're setting ourselves up for more. But if we waste it or don't use it at all, we're basically showing we can't handle more. So guys, if you want to grow, start with what's in front of you and use it well. Yeah, wealth and responsibility are like peanut butter and jelly, inseparable. The parable of the talents teaches us that the more we're given, whether it's money, talent, or opportunities, the more we're accountable for. Next up, use your gifts wisely. The servants who were given 5 and 2 talents didn't just sit around waiting for things to come to them. They used what they had. They didn't make excuses. They didn't complain about what they didn't have. They used what they had to work with. You've got gifts, talents, skills. Whether it's a skill for sales, creativity, or just being a problem solver. The key here is using them wisely. Don't just sit on your skills. Take action. Don't be that person who hides their talents under a rock. Use what you've got and use it well. Imagine if Superman decided to work a 9 to 5 instead of saving the world. Or if Beyoncé never shared her incredible voice with the world. Tragic, right? The parable of the talents reminds us that we weren't given these gifts for nothing. They're meant to be shared with the world. Whether you're a math whiz, a coding ninja, an incredible artist, or a master chef, your talents have the power to inspire, to uplift, and to make a real difference. But here's the catch. Using your gifts takes guts. It takes courage to put yourself out there, to risk failure, and to embrace the unknown. But trust me, the rewards are worth it. Now, number 3 on the list is risk is part of growth. I mean, think about it. The servants who grew their talents, they took risks. They went out and invested. They put their money in places where it could grow. The servant who buried his talent, he didn't risk anything. And what happened? Nothing. If you're going to grow your money, your career, or your personal life, you're going to have to take some risks. Not reckless ones, but calculated risks. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Take that leap and trust the process. Playing it safe is for board games, not life. If you want to achieve extraordinary things, you have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone and embrace the unknown. Think about any successful person you admire. Do you think they got to where they are by playing it safe? Nope. They took risks, they made mistakes, and they learned from their failures. The parable of the talents shows us that growth happens when we're willing to step out in faith and take a chance. The servant who buried his talent was too afraid of failure, and what happened? He missed out on the opportunity to multiply his potential. So ditch the fear of failure, embrace the unknown, and get ready for an adventure. You might be surprised at what you can achieve when you step outside of your comfort zone. On to number 4, faithfulness leads to increase. Both the servant with 5 talents and the one with 2 talents did the same thing. They worked hard, were faithful, and grew their wealth. The master rewarded them by giving them more. Faithfulness pays off. If you're diligent with what you have, more will come. Think of it like this. When you show up consistently, whether it's in your job, your business, or your relationships, it shows you're trustworthy. And when you're trustworthy, you'll see growth. This one's simple, guys. Stick to your guns, and you'll see results. Faithfulness isn't just a virtue, it's a strategy. Think about it like training for a marathon. You don't just wake up one day and run 26 miles. It takes consistent effort, dedication, and a whole lot of sweat. The same goes for achieving your goals. The parable of the talents highlights the importance of faithfulness in the little things. The servants who were faithful with the talents they were given were rewarded with even more responsibility and even greater opportunities. Faithfulness is about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about staying true to your commitments, even when things get tough. Alright, next is accountability is key. The master didn't just give his servants money and leave them to figure it out. He came back to check on what they had done, and when the one servant had nothing to show for it, he got held accountable. The same goes for your finances. If you're not checking in on how you're managing your money, your time, or your goals, you're doing yourself a disservice. Be accountable to yourself and to others. That's how you stay on track. We all mess up sometimes, but the difference between those who succeed and those who don't often comes down to one crucial thing: accountability. Own up to your actions, guys. Accountability isn't just for kids. It's for everyone who wants to grow. Think about it like this. When you make a mistake and you own up to it, you take responsibility for your actions and you learn from the experience. But when you blame others, make excuses, or try to sweep your mistakes under the rug, you prevent yourself from growing and learning. The parable of the talents shows us that we're accountable for what we do with what we're given. Accountability isn't about beating yourself up when you mess up. It's about being honest with yourself, learning from your mistakes, and using those experiences to become a better version of yourself. So the next time you make a mistake, don't shy away from it. Own it, learn from it, and grow from it. The next lesson is a big one. Don't let fear hold you back. The guy who buried his talent was motivated by fear. Fear of losing it, fear of making a mistake. But what happened? He lost out. Fear kept him from taking action. Don't let fear stop you from making moves. You've got to face it, push through it, and take the necessary steps to move forward. Fear is a liar. It whispers doubts in your ear, tells you that you're not good enough, and tries to hold you back from achieving your dreams. But don't let it win. We all experience fear. It's a natural human emotion, but the key is to not let fear control us. When we allow fear to dictate our decisions, we miss out on incredible opportunities for growth, adventure, and fulfillment. Think about the servant who buried his talent. He was paralyzed by fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of what others might think. And as a result, he missed out on the opportunity to multiply his potential. Here's the thing about fear. It thrives in the darkness. But when we shine a light on our fears, when we confront them head on, they lose their power over us. So how do we conquer our fears? By taking action. By doing the things that scare us, even when we're terrified. It's not about being fearless, it's about being courageous. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's taking action in spite of fear. So don't let fear hold you back from living your best life. Moving on to number 7, invest in what you have. The servants who got the most return were the ones who invested their talents. They didn't sit on them, waiting for the perfect time or more money. They used what they had. And that's a huge lesson for us. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Start where you are, with what you have, and invest in your future. You don't need $1 million to start investing. Use what you have and watch it grow. Investing isn't just about money, guys. It's about investing in yourself, in your skills, in your relationships, and in your future. It's about taking the time, energy, and resources to become the best version of yourself. Think about it like this. When you invest in a stock, you're betting on its potential to grow in value over time. The same goes for investing in yourself. When you invest in your education, your skills, or your personal development, you're betting on your own potential to grow and succeed. Investing in yourself could mean taking a course, learning a new skill, reading a book, attending a conference, or even just having a conversation with someone you admire. Remember, the best investment you can ever make is in yourself. So start small, be consistent, and watch your potential grow. On to number 8, don't compare, be productive. The servant with 1 talent might have looked at the one with 5 talents and thought, man, I don't have enough to make a difference. But comparing himself to others didn't help him grow. He should have focused on what he could do with what he had. Stop comparing yourself to others. Focus on being productive, not perfect. Your progress is personal to you, and that's all that matters. Comparison is the thief of joy. Focus on your own journey and be productive. In the age of social media, it's easier than ever to fall into the comparison trap. We scroll through our feeds, see other people's highlight reels, and start to feel inadequate, envious, or even discouraged. But here's the thing. Comparison is a losing game. The parable of the talents reminds us that we're all given different talents and opportunities. We're not meant to compare ourselves to others. We're meant to focus on developing our own unique gifts and talents. Instead of wasting your time and energy comparing yourself to others, focus on your own journey. Celebrate your wins, learn from your setbacks, and keep moving forward. Here's another good one. This parable teaches us diligence over comfort. It's easy to get comfortable with the little you have, to just let things stay the same. But the key to growth is diligence. Be consistent, stay focused. Keep putting in the work even when it's hard. The servants who were praised didn't take the easy route. They worked hard and it paid off. Comfort zones are overrated. Diligence is where the magic happens. Let's be real, guys. It's easy to get comfortable, to stay in our routines, to avoid risks, and to settle for mediocrity. But if we want to achieve extraordinary things, we have to be willing to embrace discomfort. Think about it like this. A muscle doesn't grow by staying the same. It grows when it's challenged, when it's pushed beyond its limits. The same goes for us. We grow when we step outside of our comfort zones, when we embrace challenges, and when we're willing to put in the hard work. Diligence isn't about being busy. It's about being intentional. It's about setting goals, creating a plan, and then taking consistent action, even when it's uncomfortable. Last but not least, God rewards faithful stewardship. This whole parable shows that when you're faithful with what you have, God will reward you. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen. If you're diligent and faithful, you'll see the fruit of your labor. Be a good steward of what you have, and you'll see the rewards. Trust me on this one. The parable of the talents isn't just a story about money or possessions. It's a story about stewardship. It's about recognizing that everything we have, our talents, our resources, our time, are gifts that have been entrusted to us. And it's about using those gifts wisely, generously, and responsibly. Think about it like this. Imagine you're given a garden to tend. You could neglect the garden, let the weeds grow wild, and watch as it withers and dies. Or you could cultivate the soil, plant seeds, water the plants, and watch as the garden flourishes and bears fruit. The ultimate reward for faithful stewardship isn't necessarily material wealth or recognition. It's the satisfaction that comes from knowing that we've used our gifts to make a difference in the world. Thanks for making it this far. If you found these lessons as eye-opening as I did, make sure to like, share, and comment below. Let me know which lesson resonated with you the most, And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. See you in the next video.